Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about a topic which lot of parents have been asking me since the last 1 to 2 years. That is baby-led weaning. Now around 1 year back, I hardly used to have probably one parent out of 50 asking me for this method of weaning. Now I have every other mother asking me about baby-led weaning. Part of it is because of the numerous Instagram accounts and photos and social media pictures of babies as young as 6 and 7 months eating nicely on their own. And I sometimes feel that mothers are just feeling the pressure to do the same. So, before I talk about baby led weaning, I like to tell you that our textbooks, our medical textbooks, don't mention this method. It mentions the traditional method, starting with purees and gradually encouraging self feeding, finger foods, and all. In fact, I have done a postgraduate diploma in pediatric nutrition from Boston University. There, also, the same was being followed. So, this method started in UK, but it has still not made, the scientific basis behind it is still not very well proven. Though a few studies are saying yes, that baby led weaning is good, it makes the baby become more independent in feeding, the feeding time is less fussy, they don't have excessive weight gain because there is no force feeding, and these babies are more receptive to eating on their own and eating more healthy foods later on also. But there is a risk that the child may eat less. There may be sometimes less weight gain, the child may go into undernutrition. Children have a tendency to eat more of high carbohydrate foods. They may not take enough of iron and other nutrients in this method of feeding. There is a slight risk of choking, but the initial studies say that the risk is not higher than traditional weaning. So, what is baby led weaning? In this, you do not feed the baby. No matter what, let the baby spill the food, let the baby throw the food, you will not get up and start feeding the baby. So for this, as earlier also I have mentioned many times, weaning starts at 6 months of age. We now call it complementary feeding. So this should happen, especially baby-led weaning, only if the baby can sit with minimal support or help from others. So maybe in a high chair or some boosted chair, the baby should be able to sit on her own. The baby should be able to pick up things and put in her mouth. Otherwise, this will not work. The baby should have lost the tongue thrust. So the moment you put something, the baby should not just force out her tongue. So if these criteria are met, then you can give it a shot. Please remember, this is not for all babies. If your baby is not ready for it, please don't go by the peer pressure of social media or your friends or these numerous accounts these days. We have been prescribing and recommending traditional weaning since many years, and most of the kids are doing fine. So really, it's up to you if you want to go for it, and you have to be very determined to go for it, because if your child is refusing the food, then you should be sure that you will not go in and start feeding. Basic principles are the same. You introduce one new food item every 3 to 5 days, because if the child develops some allergy to any food item, you will come to know. The list of items which you cannot give remains the same: no salt, no sugar, no fruit juices, no honey, no egg, and no nuts initially. And also, you have to avoid items like grapes or strawberries. There is a higher risk of choking. So, if you are giving these spherical kind of objects, make sure you cut them into 4 parts, or at least 2 longitudinal thin parts, so that the child doesn't choke. So you should give the child cut pieces of things which the child can hold in her fist comfortably, and part of it is protruding. For example, you boil pumpkin or you steam pumpkin and carrot, and then you cut it into thin slices. You keep it on the child's plate, and he or she will pick it up and then eat it however they are able to eat it. So you can do it for different food items. You can do it for banana, pumpkin, carrot, broccoli, then your beans. You just boil a piece of the bean and you give it. But yes, they should be soft. You cannot give the child a hard carrot to chew on. It should be steamed, it should be soft. Sweet potato, you can cut a slice, boil it and give it. So like if you are non-vegetarians, then meat can be slowly stewed and a small longitudinal long piece can be kept in front of the child. Now some people believe that in this there is strictly no purees. Now as I said, this is not a scientifically recommended method that there are a fixed set of guidelines. I had a mother come to me and she said purees are a big no. But nothing like that. Some foods you have to give at purees. The purpose of baby-led weaning is that the baby should taste all textures. So you can make purees also, keep in front of the child, give a spoon, let the child put her hand in it, lick some of it, throw some of it, manage some of it with a spoon. So it is going to be a little tedious process. There is going to be more of a mess created. Once the child is older, say 9 months, then you can give more of finger foods like small pieces of apple, small pieces of carrot, say you can give chapati pieces, paratha pieces. Earlier also you can give idli, you can cut it into small pieces so the child can pick up the whole idli and chew a bit. And dosa, you can keep small pieces of dosa. There are some people who will make sort of tikki kind of thing out of say your ragi or oats and then give it to the child. So anything which the child can pick up and eat. But if you are going for this method, as I said, you should be ready that the child will be making a big mess. And also you should definitely know the signs of choking and the first aid of choking. And just because it is baby-led weaning doesn't mean you keep a plate in front of the baby and you can just go ahead and do your office or your household work. You have to be continuously present. They are still very young and you just have to be present there to let the baby to make sure that the baby is not choking. As I said, if you're going for the traditional method of weaning, that is perfectly fine. But even in the traditional method of weaning, for years doctors have been recommended, once the child is 8 to 9 months, let the child pick up and eat few food items, throw few food items, put a hand in rice and eat as much as she can and remaining she can throw. So that we have been encouraging since many years, but this entirely baby-led weaning has really gained momentum in the last 2 to 3 years, and because many parents have been asking me about it, I am telling you all this. Now coming to preterm babies, I wouldn't recommend this method for preterm babies, at least not at 6 months of age, maybe a little later after consultation with your pediatrician, because these premature or low birth weight babies were already born with a low weight and they are trying to catch up. Now if you do this and then they again don't gain enough weight, then that will not be good for their growth and development. Also, if you're going for this method, please keep the weight check after a month, and if the child is not gaining weight adequately, you can consider going back to the traditional method of weaning. And at each pediatric visit, please discuss with your pediatrician what all is your child taking in baby-led weaning, because there are some studies which say that baby-led weaning can lead to iron deficiency and other things more than traditional weaning, because maybe if you keep a piece of broccoli or say some spinach puree, the child is not taking. The child is preferring to take idli, or the child is preferring to take some banana. So maybe certain things, iron rich foods or micronutrient rich food, the child doesn't prefer to take, because here it is entirely the child's choice in baby-led weaning. So keep these things in mind, and if you want to go ahead with it, please go ahead. There are people who are claiming to be baby-led certified trainers. I heard from a mother, she attended such a workshop. There is no such training. There is, at least I am not aware of it, because this is not really even mentioned in medical books yet. Of course you can try it, go for it, but don't feel the peer pressure. And if you feel you have to stop it, please stop it. Don't think that because on Instagram so many mothers are doing it, why is my child not doing it? Each child is different. If your child is receptive doing it, then excellent. Of course, it saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of stress when the baby is eating on her own. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. So hope that helps the parents who want to try baby-led weaning.